This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance at nhliberty.org.
Standing here with Mike Tyner from Manchester, and you had been to court to witness the arraignment of two Free Staters who were caught, in the park after hours. And you just had some experiences inside the courtroom here in Manchester. Manchester District Court?
No, yes, actually it was Manchester.
I guess you wanted to tell viewers a little bit about...
Well, the thing that happened with Tyler and Irene when they were arrested is they read the list of charges of what they were, wanted to be actually extradited back to Arizona for, and they had no idea that those charges were actually pending against them. Just you could tell by the looks on their faces. The reason that they were there, one of the things that the judge was telling them was that they had the opportunity to either waive their right to an extradition hearing and go right back to Arizona where they would be, tried for their crimes out there, or they could challenge
alleged crimes.
Yeah, alleged crimes. Sorry. Or they could challenge the extradition with a hearing here in Manchester that would take about 30 days or so. And they didn't really understand what was being said to them, so Tyler asked if he would be able to speak to a lawyer before they made that decision. And basically the judge just denied that right to them. And you could clearly see that they couldn't understand. So I was trying to signal them in whatever way I could, like putting my fist up like, hey, yeah, fight, challenge it. And was told by one of the sheriff's deputies that was working as a bailiff in the court to not make any signal or gestures to the defendants. And so I moved up to the front row and was listening to a little bit more of the conversation the judge was having with the prosecutor about their situation, and was also trying to signal Tyler again to let him know when the prosecutor basically said, hey, you've already been warned once, and I'll take you out of here in handcuffs just to make a point. And he actually used those words that he would remove me from the courtroom just to make a point for disrupting their proceedings, which there weren't actually any proceedings going on right there. But I did think that was kind of a shame thing for the court system to basically deny those people their right to talk with an attorney, and that's a pretty big decision to make, in my opinion. But the whole day, we waited around there for about 2 hours or so, watching the arraignments of other people that were there for petty crimes and victimless crimes. And basically, these people were forced to, if they were going to cop a plea, they had to waive a bunch of their rights, and they didn't understand what those rights were. The other thing that was kind of outstanding was the one thing that the court really cared about and made them raise their hand and swear that the information they give was truthful was the information that they put on a financial affidavit about what their current financial situation was. So I'm sure that's a way that we want to make sure that we know your money situation so we can try to get your money from you. And probably the only other thing was that, the prosecution would, put out a case for whatever the bail recommendation would be for the defendants, and the judge gave each defendant the opportunity to speak on their own behalf as to what they think about the bail recommendation and should it be lowered. And for every single person that, after they pleaded their sob story and said, hey, I'm going to lose my job or whatever reason, the judge basically denied. It's like he didn't even listen. It was probably just like a formality that they did to make the whole situation seem fair. And
who was the judge on this?
You know what? Actually, I didn't catch his name. I saw it on the, on his desk where he was sitting at, but I don't recall it right now. So it was room 201 of the Manchester District Court. I'm not sure the judge that's in that room.
What do you think would be an appropriate thing to be done about some of these problems?
Well, everybody's got to do what's right for them, but personally, in my own situation, I think peaceful non-cooperation is the way to go. I basically think that the reason that they bother, coming after these people for these silly offenses is because nobody stands up to them and makes any challenge to it whatsoever. I would have loved to be able to stand in the courtroom with a sign that says, plead not guilty, refuse to pay the fine. One kid who was 20 years old, and I think the prosecutor said he was like 3 months away from his 21st birthday, was arrested for drinking in public or minor in possession of alcohol or something like that. They ended up giving the kid a $360 fine. And he was going to pay it. I tried talking to him in the lobby, but he really wasn't hearing that, I'm going to do that. They made a big deal about, well, we're going to let you keep your driver's license. So that was basically it. Yeah, it was just... was disgusting to me. And Joe was sitting in there with me as well, and he thought the same thing. And every time they would get done with a little speech about the bail, and the judge would deny them a personal recognizance bail, and Joe would make a joke like, back in the cage, back in the cage, and that's basically what it was. Shuffling people in and taking them back out again.
Yeah, well, at least they're hearing some comments that indicate people don't like what they're doing.
Yeah, and another note too, Joe should definitely get credit for this, because I'm not sure how many people have done this yet in the Manchester District Court. We were talking before a couple of the other activists left while we were waiting there, who is going to stand when the judge actually comes in, and it basically got down to where there were just 3 of us, and Joe said that he wouldn't stand. The only reason I decided to stand the first time was because somebody had to be there to listen to what the legal mumbo jumbo that was going on, and I have a little bit of knowledge of that, so I figured I had to pick the fight, and it was more important to get the information than it was to make that stand. After I got chewed out for trying to signal Tyler, I didn't stand the second time. The third time when they made us do it, they actually noticed that Joe didn't stand, and the sheriff's deputy that was acting as the bailiff told him, yeah, hey, stand up. And Joe said, no, I'm a Quaker, and the guy just kind of looked at him funny and didn't do anything. But they didn't notice that I didn't stand the last 2 times. But Joe definitely should get some credit for that, because I'm not sure if that's even been done in district court.
Any video get in and out of there?
No, we didn't take any video in the courtroom that day.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Dave.
nhliberty.org. You cannot do this at the State House in Concord without hitting one of these guys. They're everywhere, fighting for your freedom. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance at nhliberty.org. You should join them so you can join the fight for liberty. And I should say, don't join them, join us, because I am a member.